Data visualization can draw inspiration from various sources. In this presentation, we'll see how to create a Marimekko chart using PS IMAGO PRO, inspired by the one Finnish company's patterns. This is a specific type of bar chart where all bars have the same height, and there are no gaps between them. Let's prepare such a graph. Open the cards dataset. Here, we find information about the types of cards used in a bank, including the type of card, the issuer, and the total amount of transactions completed with each card. To prepare the chart, go to the Predictive Solutions menu, select Graphs, and choose Marimekko Graph. The basic version of the chart is a 100% stacked bar chart, where the width of each bar is proportional to its share in the total count. The height of each segment within a bar, differentiated by color, depends on its percentage share within that bar. Move the card type variable to the x-axis grouping field and the payment org variable to the color variable field, which segments the bars by color. Next, go to Labels and choose to display information about the categories on the chart, both on the x-axis and for the color variable. Additionally, select to display the column percentage of counts. Click OK. Now, go to the Properties. You can leave the title options unchecked since we set the labels to display on the chart, and uncheck the legend. Set the chart color style to Summer. On the right side, you can decide what information will be displayed on the X and Y axes. Here, set the variable labels to be displayed on the X and Y axes without ticks, showing the scale from 0 to 100%. Leave the markers on the X-axis unchanged. Click OK. Before generating the chart, you can change the cell coloring method so that each cell gets a different color, or leave the default coloring settings according to the categories of the Y-axis variable. Click OK. As a result, we obtained a chart showing that 43% of the cards in the dataset are debit cards, while 57% are credit cards. Within the debit cards, 6% are American Express, 64% are Visa, and 30% are MasterCard. This is the basic version of the chart. Let's see what happens when we add information about the transaction amounts for each card. Return to the graph settings. Now, we'll use variables to differentiate the segments further. Move the expenses and expenses to variables to the optional variables field, and change the displayed labels. Uncheck the column percentage of counts and select the column percentage of the X variable's sum, and the overall percentage of the X variable's sum. Click OK. Looking at the new chart, we see that despite the relatively small number of debit cards issued by American Express compared to credit cards, the spending with these debit cards is higher than with credit cards. As shown, spending with American Express debit cards constitutes 11% of the total spending with all cards and 22% of the spending with only debit cards. Using this visualization, we can also present sales in different areas in a clear and engaging way, making complex data insights more accessible and impactful.